Hello everyone, I am Prepper Princess, the author of Living on Almost Nothing. If you're interested in purchasing the book, I'll go ahead and leave a link down in the description box below. Today we're going to do something a little bit different, and I want to talk about the ins and outs of YouTube. So if you are considering starting a YouTube channel as maybe a side hustle or your main form of income, I want to go over some of the stuff that happens in the background that I think is, first of all, going to help you make a decision as to whether or not you want to start a business like this. Also, it's going to give you a really good idea of what you can expect, and it'll give you an idea of how, if you want to be successful on YouTube, there are some things that you need to know, like how we get paid in other ways and stuff like that. What is it, like affiliates, product reviews, taxes, stuff like that. So without further ado, let's get into it. All right, so I wrote down some stuff that I thought that you guys might all want to know, from not just from a behind the scenes thing, but as somebody who watches YouTube. So first of all, let's go over the good parts of being a YouTuber. Okay, number one is YouTube, with the addition of my book sales, has allowed me the opportunity to donate so much to charity, which I've always donated to charity, but not to the level that I'm able to do it through YouTube. So my book sales all go to charity. So whether I make $500 a month, $100 a month, or $1,500 a month, that's all going to charity. So this is something that I would never be able to do if it were not for YouTube and people purchasing my book. That's the first thing. Second thing is like a community of lifestyle. So before I started the YouTube channel, I've always been not an extreme cheapskate, but I've always lived on a super low income, and usually I would work one job and live off of that income, and then the other job, I've worked two jobs my entire adult life, always low wage jobs. The most I've ever made at a single job before YouTube was $44,000 a year. And that was working like a ton of overtime. Like, I felt like I had no life whatsoever, and I was working a second job on top of that and a whole bunch of other stuff. So having more free time, I make these YouTube videos. I think that they're really important for people to learn about, especially in this day and age. Money saving, preparing for your financial future, all of that sort of thing. And there's a community out there. The people, not just the people who view the channel. I think that a lot of the people that view the channel are not like living below the poverty line like I am. And I do it not because I have to, but because I've done it. That's just the way I've lived my entire life. But people want to know more about how to live on less and still be normal, still be happy, still give a facade of a middle class lifestyle. And but there is a community out there. There are people who want to be like you, and they support the types of things that you do in order to save this amount of money or donate this type of money. And before I ever had a YouTube channel, I thought I was the only one. You know, I was living in an affluent area where people just spend money like they drink water. And I really thought that I was like the only person who didn't want to buy this new thing, who didn't want to spend money on that, didn't want to throw things away the way other people do, stuff like that. It's just, I don't want to go out to restaurants. And finding a community on YouTube is really, really great. And that's not just on the front end, that's on the back end as well. So I've made some friends or acquaintances, friends and acquaintances, who are also YouTubers, who are in the same sort of niche that I am in, or niche, the same type of content that I'm in. And I've been able to develop like a couple of really, really close friendships, like family. Coffee with Kate is an example. She's like a sister to me. I feel like, the moment we met was like, there's the sister I never knew I had, type of thing. And along with a lot of other people, I've talked with Under the Median, Survival Lily, City Prepping, Canadian Prepper, Urban Prepper, Angry Prepper. Sensible Living with Money Mom. I've talked to sort of, not really, but sort of budget girl, you know, you name it. And I've been able to communicate with these people. And the information that we've been sharing back and forth, I think, is something that needs to be brought to light too, and doing collaborations and stuff like that. So another positive in the beginning, not the beginning, once you hit about 100,000 subscribers, which, by the way, if you're thinking of being a YouTuber and you think that you're going to be successful, I just want to give you a heads up that less than 1/2 of 1% of YouTubers reach 100,000 subscribers. It is 0.42%. 0.42% of YouTubers reach 100,000 subscribers. So if you think that you're going to come on here and automatically explode into this huge channel and be, you know, the big guy on the block, it's probably, your chances are very minimal chances. It's more likely going to be a very slow progressive process. But once you hit 100,000 subscribers, that is when companies start reaching out to you to give you free product, do product reviews. And when I started doing it, it was more around 65,000 subscribers, and it was very small things. It was like a food saver, a vacuum sealer, and I had an Instapot. And I still have the vacuum sealer. The Instapot I gave to somebody in need. I don't use an Instapot. I prefer my crock pot. But and I had this really cool tube solar cooker, which was like really cool. And I moved on to bigger solar products, and now I use the sun oven. But smaller products will reach out to you, and they'll give you stuff for free. But then once you hit another amount, you start noticing things when you go to do your taxes. But for starters, making money on YouTube does not pay what you think it's going to pay. You know, you're not in here making $20,000 a month. That's not the way it works. For me, you know, I'm used to about $30,000 a year. Now, through the lockdowns, it increased substantially. People were at home, they were trying to figure out ways to save money, so my channel boomed, and I took advantage of that because I knew it wasn't going to last forever, saved up some money, bought this house, rented out my old house. But I knew that wasn't going to last forever, so I rely on $30,000 per year before taxes. Now, here's the thing about YouTube is that you're taxed at like 33%, like 30 to 33%. So whatever you make, you have to set aside 1/3 of your income just in order to pay taxes. And when you get these product reviews, keep in mind, first of all, when you do so many product reviews of the same type of item, like for instance, I do solar generators. There's one in the background right now, right? So once you have so many, you literally have so many of these things that you don't even have enough things to power them. Like meaning you've got 30 units, but I've counted and I only have 16 things that can be plugged in. That is how many things I own that can be plugged in, like my TV, fireplace, light, lamp, microwave, refrigerator, washer, dryer. I don't have that many things. So once you get to a point where you have so many of these, you have to start getting rid of them. And I sell them on eBay. Once I've finished with the product review, I always keep a certain amount on hand to ensure that if the electricity does go out, that I do have backup power. But then you have so many, you have to start getting rid of them. And I sell them on eBay. And don't forget, if it happens to you, first of all, not only do you have to pay taxes on eBay, you also have to pay taxes on receiving the product. The product is considered a gift tax. So you have to write that down. You have to keep it in your records. So I charge $1,000 per product review. There's several different factors for this. First of all, I have to pay taxes on the gift. Second of all, I have to pay taxes if I sell it on eBay. And then there comes the third thing, which is the cost of storage, the cost of the use of my time, as well as trying to sell the product. There is the algorithm issue. So if you do stuff on, pretty much product reviews don't get good views. So it really interferes with your YouTube algorithm, and a lot less people will watch those videos. So a huge part of why my channel hasn't grown is because of all of these product reviews. However, keep in mind that YouTube is a business, and you have to think of it as yourself of being like a basketball player. I know that this is a really weird reference, but basketball players, let's just say they make $2 million a year playing basketball, right? A couple million a year. But then they make 20 or 50 million a year doing these advertisements, these products, Air Jordans, stuff like that. So they make more money doing advertising than they do doing their actual job. And it's the same for YouTube. So if I'm making $2,000 a month on YouTube, but I get these product reviews, I can charge the company $1,000, and if I do 2 product reviews a month, I'm already making as much as I do on YouTube. If I do 4 a month, I'm making twice as much as I do making money from YouTube. And then if I go to sell it, I'll make $1,000 off of that, or $2,000 or $4,000, who knows, depending on the size and the price of the product. But you have to keep in mind that if you're going to be doing the product reviews and things like that, and this is why Wrangler Star probably makes so much money. I mean, he's got so many products. So doing product reviews is definitely something that is financially beneficial, but you have to keep in mind that it might mess up your algorithm depending on your niche. And then I also think that you should have a side sale, something to sell on the side. For instance, my book. So I have a book that is for sale on Amazon, which I think is a really good pocket book. It wasn't intended to be long. It was intended to be a very short read. I'll eventually make one that's longer and more in detail and stuff like that. But for the meantime, I'm proud of this book, despite any grammatical errors that may be in the book, but I'm really proud of this book. And using YouTube to promote, I use the YouTube channel to promote the book, which is the entrance to my videos. I'm Prepper Princess, the author of Living on Almost Nothing. If you're interested, purchase the link below. And that helps. So having something to promote on YouTube is big. So if you are into, crafts, and you've got your own Etsy store, say, I'm so-and-so, I've got an Etsy store that showcases these products that are for sale. Here's the link down in the description box below. You can take your YouTube revenue and double it or triple it or quadruple it by doing that other thing, doing something like that. So getting free stuff in the beginning is cool. After a while, it turns into a burden. Now, I'm trying to switch over to e-bikes because, first of all, I had that is a privilege. I got an eSpin Nesta. I love my e-bike. Like I'm telling you, I love my e-bike. And that one I did not charge $1,000 for. And I don't charge for things that have a certain dollar value or something that I like really want. Well, another company reached out to me and doing a product review for another e-bike. And I'm not charging them either, but that's because I believe in the product. I think that e-bikes, with the way that gas is going, the way that the price of cars are going, like $50,000 for a car, $5 for a gallon of gas, it's getting unaffordable for a lot of people. So I really do think that e-bikes, trikes, recumbents, e-scooters are the way of the future. That you don't have to pay for gas or car registration or anything like that. It's safer to be on the sidewalk and in the bike lanes than it is to be on the road. I think that's the way of the future. So I don't charge for those, but I still have to pay taxes on receiving the products. So just keep that in mind. I thought that this would be interesting. So why don't YouTubers answer comments? So once you get into, bigger channels, you'll see one comment with a heart on it and that's it. So here's the thing about the comments. First of all, so you have to pay attention to your algorithm. With most YouTubers, the majority of viewers are not subscribers. it's typically 2/3 of the views that you get on any given YouTube channel are not people who are subscribed to your channel. You'll have a very core base of about 10% that will always view your videos, and they're very loyal and they're always there for you, and those are the ones that you definitely want to keep in mind. But then you've got 60% of people who are not subscribers. They're coming in, watching a video, and leaving. That's it. That's all they're there for. Just come in, watch a video. And those are the ones who are doing most of the comments. Now, you'll see a few different things as a YouTuber when it comes to comments. And yes, you're going to get hate comments. So you need a thick skin. You're working with the public. It's just like being in retail or a waitress or a bartender. You're going to get the jerks, and that's just the way it is. So if you don't have a tough skin, do not do it. If you are self-conscious about anything about your body or your house or the background or anything, don't do YouTube. It's not going to last, and you're going to lose your faith in humanity. But when it comes to those people's bouncing through, leaving a comment, you will reply to their comment, and it's going to take you about 200 times before you start noticing this, is that they'll leave a comment and you'll respond, and then you'll go back to see what their response is to your response, and they never even liked or hearted or looked at the comment. So these people that are bouncing through, there's no point in responding to their comment because they're not coming back to read your response. Second of all is, so if you go into a video that you made and you respond to these comments and it's all the same comment, what's on the TV in the background, right? So you type in YouTube natural spring, that's your reply to the person who asked the question. And then in the same question, what's on the background? What's on the background? What's on the background? What's on the background? Over and over and over again, it's the same question over and over and over and over. And it's like after you've responded to about 5 or 10 of these questions, you're done. You stop, right? And then you've got people who are coming into your channel, and maybe they're going to be a long-term subscriber, maybe they're not. They're testing the waters. They leave you a comment, or they leave you a question, and you've answered that question 5,000 times. You've actually made videos answering that comment, because so many other people have commented that same comment that you've actually made full videos responding to this comment. And then they'll come in and ask the same question. And it's like, I've answered that 5,000 times. I'm done. So when you get to the point where you get this type of thing happening, you're going to start seeing the YouTuber just put one heart on one comment, the first comment that comes in, because the way that the YouTube algorithm is that if you heart just one comment, it shows engagement with your audience. It doesn't matter if you do it on every comment or one comment or 1,000 comments. As long as you show that there's a little bit of that there's engagement in your comments, that's all that the YouTube algorithm cares about. And doing that one heart on that one comment gets the job done. It improves your YouTube algorithm. So that is why YouTubers pretty much stop reading or stop replying to comments. And there are so many negative comments that a lot of us have so many filters on the comments, because YouTube has turned into like the Craigslist of the internet. Half of the comments are negative comments. So there are so many filters that I have on my channel that half of my comments go into the held for review box. And still, there are still some that get through that are really rude, like really rude. So you're gonna have to deal with negative comments, unless you have like everything on your filter like I do. So that's something to keep in mind. One thing I do want to emphasize is keeping your integrity. So here's the thing about YouTube. YouTube is based on views. It's not based on whether people like you or dislike you. It is based on how many people click on your video to get that AdSense. That's all your money-making magic, is just how many people you can get to click on the videos. So you see tons of clickbait, and what sells? Sex and fear. Very simple, sex and fear. So you're going to get naughty girls in front of cars, Or I've even seen a channel with a homesteader that has his wife pose naked for pictures in the forest and weird poses, and just that's what you're going to see. You're going to see fear or sex. And one of the things that has not helped my channel is not doing that. So back when I was doing videos about prepping, I had a really hard time keeping up with the fear mongering, and my perceptions changed. I evolved. People evolve and they learn. And I no longer wanted to be a part. I don't want to say I no longer wanted to be a part of that negativity. I'm actually going to go a little bit deeper here and say, when I go before my judgment before God, can I honestly tell him that greed did not win out over all this? Like, so did I keep my integrity while doing this? Did I lie? Did I lie? Thou shalt not bear false witness. You know, it's the 10 Commandments. So am I on here lying so that I can get more views and make more money? And I've seen so many YouTubers, it's almost like they've gone off the deep end, and then they tell you to get right with God while they're sitting here in front of a camera straight up telling lies, or stretching the truth so far to make you scared so that you will buy their product. I don't know if that makes sense, but you have to keep your integrity. If you want to go to, I don't know, if you want to go to heaven, you have to keep your integrity. And that has hurt my channel significantly. I could go on here and do fear porn and do sexy photos out in the forest. I'm not going to do that. I want to keep my integrity. I want people to come to me for real advice and what they should really do, not what is trendy. Even though I know that hurts my channel, I'm still able to do well and keep my integrity at the same time. But on the other side, you have to treat it as a business. So I've met people from all walks of life. I've met other YouTubers who were very unsuccessful because they did not treat YouTube as a business. You know, a title, if you want to talk about, you know, extreme money saving, you would title it 10 extreme ways to save money that whatever. But they will title it like MP.3 video number 6. They're not going to get views. And then you tell them like, hey, you need to make thumbnails and titles, and they'll say, I don't want to. But they want to make money. But they're still living in poverty, but they want to make enough money off of YouTube in order to lift themselves up. But they're not willing to do the type of content or work that it takes to get that done. So, you know, they won't film things that are important to other people. They'll film things that are only important to them and nobody else cares about. And then, you know, a few years have passed. They have not increased their subscriber count at all. And you're like, hey, I told you to do this. Yeah, well, I don't want to. Well, that's why you haven't improved on YouTube. You have to treat it as a business. You know, you have to put titles and thumbnails, and you have to, you know, make people want to click on the video, but still keep your integrity at the same time. You have to be consistent. Excuse me. You have to be consistent. So another thing that I've seen other people do, they'll make 4 videos in a day, and then they won't post for a month. You know, they'll make 6 videos in 3 days, and then they won't post for 3 months. You have to remain completely consistent. That YouTube has an algorithm for that. And if you are not consistent, you will not be successful. Now that leads to another issue, is that are you turning, if you love YouTube and it's your hobby and you really like doing this and you're doing it as a side gig, but you want to go full time, is it going to turn your hobby into a requirement where it's going to feel like going to work every day, where your hobby is now your job and you have to do it instead of wanting to do it? So if this is something that you want to do long term, keep that in mind. Is it going to ruin your hobby? And is it going to make it not fun anymore? If that is possible, I would not recommend doing YouTube. Yeah, I already talked about the views and the algorithm. So about your personal life. So you're going to get doxxed. You're going to lose a lot of your privacy, a lot of privacy. People are going to approach you in public, which is fine if they're doing it in public. But when they show up at your door, that's not okay. But keep in mind that there are people out there, if you're dealing with the public, you're going to deal with mentally ill people, socially awkward people. You're going to deal with people that do things inappropriately. So try and keep as much privacy as you can while still being relatable. Another thing is, don't say what you're going to do. Don't say what you're going to do. Like I did, I'll give an example. I lost 20 pounds in a month. I did not say to people, I'm going to lose 20 pounds in a month, because every day I would have gotten emails and texts. How's your weight loss going? What are you doing different? What are you up to right now? And it would have interrupted the entire process. So, and also when I moved to Arizona, I saved up for 3 years to buy this house, which was my plan when I moved there, but I didn't tell anybody that. I told them afterwards. So I was like, okay, I lost 20 pounds in 30 days. Here's what I did. So it wouldn't interrupt the process. Then when it came to me moving to Arizona, I always say in my videos, buy the cheapest house you can find, pay for it in cash, live there for a little while you save up for your house, live on a trailer in the middle of the desert. I don't care, live in your car, whatever the cheapest thing you can do is to do, and then save up your money and buy a house. So I did that so that I could prove to other people that it could be done, which kind of, I don't think anybody cared anyway, but I did it. And so I didn't tell people beforehand, like, I'm going to do this. It was like, okay, I did it. This is what I did. So you never want to tell people what you're going to do. You want to tell them after you've done it. Never, ever, ever, ever talk poorly about specific other YouTubers. So you can use broad generalizations. But if you're going to talk bad about another YouTuber, never, ever use their name. I'll tell you why. First of all, if they're a bigger channel than you, first of all, you're portraying a poverty mentality. You're portraying jealousy and envy, which are very negative qualities and traits that you do not want to put out there. Secondly, it might bring a lot of your viewers over to their channel, and they will start stuff with them. Like, they will try to get a bad back and forth going, like a rivalry. They're going to try and get a rivalry going between you two channels. And I've seen this several times, and it's like, and then the whole content, both channels are essentially ruined, because the entire video is this person talking about this YouTuber and this person talking about this YouTuber, and then it's just back and forth, and then it turns into like, I'm going to prove you wrong. I'm going to look up all this personal information about you, and I'm going to publicly put it out here and do this and do that. And then that's all the channel's about, and then you lose your entire fan base, and nobody wants to watch you anymore. It only takes a matter of about 6 months before your YouTube channel is just gone. Nobody wants to watch it. So if you're going to talk bad about other YouTubers, do it in a very broad sense. Do not say so-and-so is a complete horrible BSer who lies about everything and creates bad content and is fear-mongering people and blah, 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 blah. Never do that. Say good things about other YouTubers if you're going to say anything at all. Always say good things, because then you can collaborate. Some of their subscribers will come over and watch you. Some of yours will go watch them, and so on and so forth. It is negativity spreads faster than positivity, but let's spread some positivity, okay? Keep your private life private. Do not talk about your friends, your family, any romantic relationships you may or may not be having. Do not talk about it. Because if later on down, and I learned this from experience, later on down the line, your relationship doesn't work out, you break up for whatever reason, people will follow you for 3, 4, 5 years asking you what happened. And it's like, if it were any of your business, I would have made a video about it. But that goes back to losing a lot of your privacy. So keep your private life private. And in that respect also, when you go on vacation or trips, there's 2 things you can do. One is you can make a video while you're on your trip, and you can use everything as a itemized tax deduction. So your hotel fees, the kayak you rented, your car rental, your food, as long as you are filming or you film something that's even 5 seconds in a video, you can use that as a tax deduction. So that is a-okay. I did a video a long time ago where I was staying in a hotel for my aunt's 80th birthday. And because I filmed in my hotel, which was the only money I spent, and the gas to get there, I was able to use that entire trip as a tax deduction. So if you're a YouTuber and you want to talk about like grocery savings, like saving money on groceries, every grocery shopping trip you go on is a tax deduction. Just keep that in mind, so you can do that way. But on the other side, there are certain things where you want to still enjoy your life. Like, you don't want everything filmed. So, like for instance, I went to, what's it called? It's not Disneyland, it's in LA. It's where all the movie stuff is. Universal Studios. I went to Universal Studios with my family, my brother, his girlfriend, their 4 kids, and we all had a blast. But I didn't want to film that because I wanted to be in the moment with my family. Me and my nephew had a great time. The Jurassic Park line was like 2.5 hours long. And, you know, my brother and his girlfriend have 4 kids, 3 other kids under the age of 5. And my nephew, the oldest one, was the only one who was tall enough to go on it. And they were too busy to take him. So I was able to take him, and we had to wait in line for 2.5 hours. But the 2.5 hours is a memory that I'm going to have between me and Bronson that nobody else can share. And I wasn't filming it because I wanted to be in the moment with him. I wanted him to have all my attention, and I wanted to be with, I know it sounds weird, but there's certain moments of your life that simply should not be filmed. So I didn't film that entire trip. So just keep in mind, you can use it as a tax deduction, or you can enjoy the time with your family. It's up to you. Okay, so we have the next subject on the line. I've only got 2 more, and I'm trying to get through these as fast as I can, but this is already a really long video. Oversaturation of content. So it is going to be much, much harder to have a successful YouTube channel right now as opposed to maybe 5 or 10 years ago. When I started, there were a lot less of us, lot less money savers. I'm one of the OGs, I guess. I only knew of 2 people. That was Beat the Bush and Budget Girl back when I started my channel that had to do with money saving. So now, you know, money saving, investing, stock market, extreme low income living, poverty living. And I feel like I was one of the pioneers of living below the poverty line. And now it seems like everybody's doing it. And so you're going to be placed into a bucket, whatever your niche may be. I'm sorry, I don't know how to say it. Whatever your content or your subject matter is going to be, remember there are thousands of other channels that are probably already providing the same type of content. Unless you come up with something super like new, it's going to be really hard to climb the ladder. So keep a positive outlook, be nice, don't talk bad about other YouTubers, try and do collaborations if you can, try and think of new and creative titles and thumbnails and displays and different ways you can talk about it, about maybe something that other people have not talked about in the same way that you're talking about it, so that you're really going to try and climb the ladder a little bit further. But don't expect a really fast number of views. Don't even expect to get monetized in the first year. You know, don't promote it to your Facebook friends and stuff like that, because it really doesn't help. You really want to take somebody who is successful and copy what they do. So imitation is the sincerest form of flattery. So if you know, pick your favorite YouTuber and then copy them. Like what are they doing that is, like, check out their editing software, the microphone they use, the background they use, what types of products they use in their videos, what they're talking about, what is their dialogue type, are they using a teleprompter, blah, 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 blah. Like, try and I'm not saying do exactly what they do and copy what they do, but like try and mimic the specifics of how they make that video and see if that'll work for you. And the last one is stick to your content. So you need a niche and you need to stick to it. If you are talking about crafts and then the next day you want to talk about cars, you're going to start losing subscribers real fast. You're going to gain the car people and lose the crafts people. So if you want two separate subjects, you should have two separate channels. Sometimes you can go one and the other. Mine is sort of prepping for your financial future, but that doesn't work for everybody. So just make sure that you keep your original content. Make sure you know who your audience is. Use that analytics button in your YouTube studio to see who your main core audience is and who more of those that you want to attract and how you would be able to do so. All right, folks. I hope that this has answered some of your questions if you're interested in starting a YouTube channel. If it were me and it were now, I would not start a channel right now, personally. It would be, I take that back. I would start a channel only for fun, and then if it were able to get a little bit bigger, maybe as a side gig. I would not choose it as my main form of income at this point. Because it's just totally oversaturated with content, and the amount of time that it's going to take you to be able to make a decent amount of money is going to be such a long time. And typically YouTubers with less than 0.5% being successful, it's really hard for me to say, like, yay, go for it. But at the same time, it's free. Like, it's free for you to start a channel. You just have an iPhone, you know, or a smartphone. If you've got a smartphone, you can start a channel. That's all it really takes. And then you just put in the app and you upload it, and then you hope for that 14,000 watch hours. So it's free to start, but you're going to be giving up a lot. And if you want to make it into a real job, it's going to take a lot of work, a lot of really, really consistent work and a consistent lifestyle. You know, if you're a crafter and you go and sell all of your crafts, your people are going to look at you like you're crazy. All right, folks, do what you can with what you've got. Prepper Princess out.